Usually, I start the show and I tell you that it's gonna be short. Not today, folks. Today's gonna be a pretty big episode. I don't know what's going on, but you know that old saying, it's gonna be a hot summer? Well, the temperature has barely shifted where I'm at. From it was really cold, we couldn't really feel the summer, to, oh, okay, it's summer, finally, Finally, it's summer, and usually does that around May. We got the April Fool's one where it starts snowing. But the summer comes back, and it seems like with the temperature rising, the audacity, the crime rate goes up. But by exception, February, we saw it rise. Not this February. This February, I could say, was relatively quiet, shockingly. But summer's here and action's back, boys. So why don't we translate this for you so that you could know what's happening inside the country and get the news that's in French translated for you, pal. So let's get down to business, my friend. Oh, believe me, I got a lot of news for you today, man. But the goal is to collect data and try to make a picture of this all day by day, every single show until we get a big picture. So here, first one, it's aggression in Levy. Levy is the red zone. Now today, because there's so many, I'm not going to translate word for word, or else we would be here probably for a couple of hours. Aggression in Levy. Levy is the red zone. A man was beat up, and he's refusing to submit a complaint. So he's not collaborating with the cops. The attacks happened on Sunday night, and it happened approximately at 12, close to a elderly home place. It says 3 people would have jumped on the guy, basically, and they beat him up bad. He went back home and he called the ambulance, and he's refusing to cooperate. They say here, sorry, let me zoom in. The event could be tied to the biker war, to the gang war, for control of stupifiers in the region. That's so far what they know. Next one, trafficking stupifiers on the North Coast. Numerous arrests in 2 days. Now, you remember the North Coast corridor? We coined it over here. So remember, guys, we have the red zone, and then we have the North Coast corridor, which both of these are going to be related to the gang wars for control against the Hells Angels and their underlings. Now, we know that Ice Pick, he got arrested, and so far what we wanted to see in the previous shows, the hypothesis we put out there is, let's see if things quiet down in the red zone. All right? And on the other side, the other co-leader we had was Al Boivin, who's still on the run. He's number 1 or number 2 most wanted, give or take before or after Rabbi Al-Khalil. He's still on the run, and he's also a co-leader of this rebellion. They caught his girlfriend a couple of months ago. He's the other half of the missing puzzle. Now, what we wanted to see is that if it will continue on his side, and we know that his sphere of influence was Saguenay and the North Coast corridor. Well, here you start already. We started with a beat up in the red zone, so that goes against the Ice Pick one. It's still continuing, it seems, but this one's not confirmed. They're suspecting it, right? But now we're talking about the North Coast. It's Al Boivin. Right away, trafficking stupifiers on the North Coast. Numerous arrests in 2 days. 3 people were arrested for trafficking stupifiers, basically. So they were Patrick Rousseau, 28 years old. A suspect, a woman, 59 years of age, was liberated. Okay, she was one of the arrests, but they let her go. The following day, they stopped a vehicle of interest that was intercepted on the 138 highway in Rivière Saint-Jean, between 7th Island and Long Point de Mingan. Now, you remember when we talked about the North Coast Corridor? I repeated so it goes in your head. Those maybe who even didn't hear about it, the episode. For us, when we talk about North Coast Corridor, we're creating this lingo between us. Seventh Island would be the capital of the North Coast Corridor. Not geographically, how you say, officially by the books. It's just for you and me. That's going to be the major city in that North Coast Corridor. So they intercepted a vehicle between 7th Island and Long Point de Mingan, or Manga. I'm not even sure how you pronounce that one. And they searched the vehicle. They got 3,000 units of M&Ms, of 150 grams of the powder, I guess, of the M&Ms as well. Okay, the driver was 53 years old that was arrested before being liberated while he waits for this court case. Okay, so we got North Coast Corridor. And when was this? Just to be sure, 6th of May. Okay, this is recent. Another one here, they stopped a small, how do you say, production cell. A production cell of stupifier. How do you say a usine? Let's say a warehouse of production. Hey, Lucifer, how are you doing, pal? It's always funny to call somebody Lucifer. Lucifer and Ryan C. What up, buddy? And the 12 other people here. So Maxime Delan writes this one, 7th of May. So that would be what? Yesterday, I think? Yeah, yesterday. What is this about? Oh, yeah, it's the warehouse. I'm interested in where is this? Bromont. So there you go. I think, if I'm not, don't quote me on this, I think that's a town south of the red zone. So in that area, but don't quote me on this. I could be wrong. So they stopped. They found hundreds of thousands of units of M&Ms. It continues. So it's funny, no? You would think, who knows? Maybe the previous bust here that we just spoke about. This is the source. Could this be tied? What a coincidence! They went after this on the 6th of May, and on the 7th they went for this one. And it would be no surprise if Bromont is in the location I told you about, that if I was correct about that, it would be no surprise this would be the pipeline. And so they got this one. Let's see what they got here. So you can see the cops are dressed, or the chemists to go there and in safety. Yeah, we don't got too much information here, but you got the picture. So they're going up the branch, man. Next one. Is this the same story, man? No, okay, this one says Bromont. Trafficking stupifier on the North Coast. Is that the same articles? My apologies. I just want to be sure. 6th of May? This one's 6th of May. It might be the exact same story. But it says 3 people were arrested less than 24 hours. Okay, might actually, may or may not. Yeah, Patrick Rousseau. I think we had a Patrick Rousseau here, right? I apologize. Yes, it's the same story. Patrick Rousseau's there too. We can skip this one. It's the same story. Next one, guys. Oh, look. A man was sprayed with rounds in 7th Island, and he's dead. When is this? It says published at 3:47. That means today. The SQ confirms the death of the man that was injured by rounds. Oh, I remember this story. This is about an old story. We covered this one on the 28th of April. There was an assassination in 7th Island. It's going back to that. So that person did not survive, unfortunately. So if you needed an update on that, he's dead. He's gone. Mission accomplished for whoever wanted him. Was it the Hells Angels targeting him? Or was it the enemies of the Hells Angels targeting them? Next one, guys. Oh, here we go. Saguenay. You see how much activity we are getting in the Alboivin region, no? We talked about 7 Island, North Coast Corridor over and over and over. And now we got Saguenay, So if there was another capital, if you will. No, Côte-Nord is his own thing. I would say that's 7th Island, but Saguenay would be the sphere of influence of the same person, allegedly. So what's happening here? This one's for the 5th of May, Monday. Let's see. Let me translate this. Let me just lower this so it doesn't blow up your ears. What's up, Green?
Le tour de nos régions. Maintenant, tout d'abord avec Valérie, 2 personnes qui ont été arrêtées en lien avec une invasion de domicile.
2 people were arrested in a home invasion.
Oui, ben c'est un événement, Simon, qui s'est passé au cours de la fin de semaine et qui a perduré là, quand même sur 2 jours. Donc, ça commence samedi.
They're saying that it happened during the weekend and it was on the course of 2 days? What does that mean?
Soir, nous dit-on, au centre-ville de Chicoutimi, invasion de domicile. Donc, 2 individus
In downtown, 2 individuals went inside of a home, forced themselves in.
qui auraient fait irruption armée. On nous parle d'armes blanches, d'armes à feu également.
So they had the tool on them and they had shanks on them.
Donc, auraient fait irruption dans un appartement du centre-ville de Chicoutimi à
So it wasn't they went inside of an apartment building, a unit inside of it.
Saguenay aurait menacé l'occupant des lieux. Selon la version qu'on a ce matin là, du côté du service de police de Saguenay, on nous dit
So according to the police version, now she's going to tell us what.
qu'il serait possiblement question d'une dette de drogue. Donc,
There you go. And the cops are saying that it would possibly be related to a debt for stupifiers.
de stupéfiants, mais évidemment que l'enquête là, se poursuit dans ce dossier-là. Mais chose certaine, Simon, c'est qu'il y a 2 individus qui ont été arrêtés. Un travail d'enquête au cours de la fin de semaine. On avait aussi une bonne description d'un véhicule et on a mis la main sur des caméras de surveillance.
So they did arrest the 2 guys, and I think that surveillance cameras played a role in this. So you imagine that building must have had, I think, they shouldn't say it, but most likely, well, not most likely, there's a chance that there was a camera in the building.
Alors, tout ça a permis de mettre la main au collet d'un premier suspect.
So first, by using that kind of clue, they were able to arrest the first person.
Quelques minutes, quelques heures tout au plus après cet événement.
And that was only a couple of minutes or hours after the event. So they got that guy quick.
Et puis, le lendemain matin, donc on est dimanche
And the following morning, they got the next guy.
matin, le deuxième individu qui a été arrêté et on nous dit qu'il y aura donc des comparutions là, dès aujourd'hui au palais de justice de Chicoutimi.
So they'll appear in court.
Alors, on aura certainement davantage d'informations. Là, je suis juste à côté du quartier général de la police de Saguenay. Donc, j'aurai l'occasion de m'entretenir avec le porte-parole
So she just says she's going to be able to speak to the cops to get more info.
tout à l'heure, savoir là, qu'est-ce qu'il y en est, quelle accusation seront déposées et est-ce que la présumée victime a été blessée dans cette affaire.
Okay, all right. The rest doesn't matter. She's not really giving much. I'm just going to scan this. We won't translate. We'll be here till tomorrow. Yeah, this is a resume exactly of what she said. Okay, we're good. So, home invasion, possibly for a debt of stupifiers in Saguenay. There you go, guys. It continues. Now, we're going to leave the red zone. We're going to leave the North Coast. And what we'll do is use your imagination. You know, fly all over the map to Montreal and the Laval region. And we're going to cover those news. And you're going to see the province is on fire. The heat is back on. Montreal, 2nd of May, so quite a bit ago. Quite a bit ago. I can't believe I missed this one. Guess I didn't upload for a while. I'm surprised. They're saying that rounds were let off at the door of a bar. Now, this is interesting. I like to see this kind of news. No, I don't like it that it's happening. But I mean, for the purposes of this show, I'd rather see, if I could say that, I'd rather see it done on a bar versus a residence. There's no information when it's a residence. You can assume too many things. But when it's a bar, it narrows down the scope a lot. What interests me now is the neighborhood of this bar. Let's see. So rounds were let off in the direction of a bar in Plateau Mont-Royal in Montreal on the night of Thursday to Friday. Nobody were injured. It was a message to that bar. It happened at 2:45 on a Friday, where one person would have let off at least 2 rounds at the door of the establishment. Yeah, no, okay. They found the projectiles on the floor. Come on, no, nothing more? Nothing more. They're investigating this. Now, okay, possibilities. Okay, someone got angry. Someone was in the bar hanging out and he got into an argument and he came back and he decided that he's just going to spray the door. I don't think so. So the more likely possibility is this is related to the bar owner, the influence that this bar has, probably or possibly in the stupifier sector, friend. Whoever controls this bar or whoever is allowed to sell his things in there, via intermediaries. And someone is trying to muscle in, or they're just straight up trying to extort the guy. So it's up in the air. I'm just hoping that this doesn't get buried and they'll come back on this one. It'll be very interesting. Straight up bar, and it's in Plateau Mont-Royal. We're talking about, if I could say that, it's sort of like a downtown. It's not the real core downtown as you would imagine, but it's in an area that's like considered like a downtown. It's like there's lots of parties going down there, festivals, nighttime. It's so alive. If you come to Montreal and you say, where should I hang out at night? Go to Plateau Mont-Royal. I call it's sort of like a bohemian. That's my best description. It's a bohemian neighborhood. Lots of people from France, for some reason, when they come here, for some strange reason, they go live in there. Now, I think it's not that strange. The other people from France lived there, so I guess they're around their communities. But it's a very bohemian neighborhood. It's a party neighborhood. There's lots of stupefiers being sold at bars and clubs down there. Don't ask me how I know. Just trust me. It's the neighborhood. If you want access to 24/7 service, you don't even need to go to a bar if you have the right number, but you'll get serviced until the very late hours. Or you can just go to Parc La Fontaine, hang out there. Maybe I'll leave you hanging. So that's done. Let's go to the next one. Now, we're flying, we're still in the greater Montreal region, but we're going to be on Laval now. What's going on? This one says 5th of May. So 3 days after the other one. A residence targeted by rounds. Oh, so it continues the action of, so far when they're shooting residences, so far, the majority of this residence was sprayed. It's always going to be, unfortunately, West Island or Laval or Ville-Saint-Laurent. These three. The majority of times when I'll be covering it with you, or if you've been here, you've noticed that. So I don't think there's multiple people on a mission to do this. I don't believe there's 10 gangs doing this. It's the same interests. It's always going to be the same players that are repeating this. And I already drew you the triangle. The triangle, those three neighborhoods. If you watch the storytelling episodes, I think it's called Triangle of Terror or something. It will give you, if you want more information on that. But yeah, the Triangle of Terror continues here. So what's going on here? It's in the neighborhood of Duvernay at 11 p.m. on Sunday. This Sunday. Nobody was hurt, of course not. It was to send a message. The residents are known by the police. Okay, what that means? The cops know them. They literally mean like they've been arrested before. The cops suspect them of something, things like that. That's the expression. They're known by cops. But no more information than that. Okay, I move on to the next. Man, you guys are awfully quiet today. What's up, guys? Oh, Lucifer it's me, Luigi. Oh, Luigi. Oh, got it, pal. Sorry, man. I didn't know. Sorry, Luigi. I might forget next time you come back on Lucifer. My memory is really bad, man. So just in case, if I ever see you, Lucifer, again, I will forget it's you. But unless you log on, Luigi, I'll forget. And Man in the Middle says the Arab power guys are getting burned now. I'm wondering, what do you mean? I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe I missed the neighborhood. I missed the news. I didn't see it so far. Even in Saint Leonard, they hit them. Oh, that's what you mean. target. They're being targeted now. I haven't. I guess they didn't go on the news yet. Maybe they didn't cover it on the news, or maybe they'll show us later. I don't know. Hey, what's up, man? In the middle. What's up, buddy? How are you, man? Hope you're doing well, bud. Verdun. So now we fly down to the southwest, Verdun, where the mafia got busted twice within 24 months. And we had Pietro Diadamo's name coming up the fruit chain, the branch, allegedly, based on these newspapers, So we go back to Verdun right now, where rounds were being let off on residents on Sunday. Which date is this? 5th of May. Man, you see how many 5th of May action we've been having? We had tons of action between the 2nd to 5th of May, right? I've been reading with you for the past 20 minutes. Oh, okay. So you're saying the man in the middle says the latest fires have been on them. So he's saying that, well, right now, so far, I'm getting... when you say fires, I think you literally mean burning vehicles, right? So far, I'm not lucky. I'm only getting rounds being let off. So every single news that I've covered, I have not covered a single fire so far. Maybe I'll land on them. So far, it's been rounds being let off, unless that's what you meant. Unless by fire you meant, firing the tool. No, I'm not sure. All right, so where are we at? So, okay, Laval residents being targeted. Message being sent. Is that this one? No, it's Verdun, sorry. Now we're at Verdun. So, do we get any information on this at 10 p.m.? No, really don't get more info. No, we don't get any info. There's nothing there. All right, next one. Where are we here? Okay. A fight in front of a bar leads to 3 arrests and an important seizure. Now, what sucks is this is Quebec news. I wanted to stay in Montreal. I mis-sorted the news. This should have came before. But I glanced at this one. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. It's just, look at what they caught. Okay, one carbine. I'm not sure how you say it in English. A caliber 12, 2 airsofts, 1 taser, one regular size tools, 2 revolves. I don't want to say the real word. I'm trying to play with it. I say an extendable baton. I call it a magic stick, and a vest. That vest. I can't say the word that comes before it, but that vest that protects you. Cell phones, and this is the part that's intriguing for me. Clothes belonging to a criminal group. This could mean a lot. But I don't see... I'd be surprised if they say that and it's like you have a t-shirt with Arab Power on it or a t-shirt with 24 Gang on it. I don't know. I'm not too convinced of that. Maybe I'm leaning more on this could be clothing for what the cops would consider a real, you know what I mean? A real organization, well-known, etc. This might be biker stuff, biker underlings or things like that. I don't know. Maybe not. It will certainly will. If he's older than 50, I will jump on that though. Let's see if they give us the age. So. One thing to note, the dude went to a bar, got into a fight. I don't know, man. So if you get into a fight in a bar, they can just come into your home and seize your stuff. And I don't think that gives the police a mandate to come search your home. He probably had something in his car which allowed them to do more. Because he got into a fight at a bar on the night of the 13th to 14th of March. Oh, this is old news. They published it on the 1st of May. But the fight itself was on the 13th, 14th of March. And the search warrants were in the red zone. Charlesbourg, tout Levy, and Saint-Adèle, Laurentide. So, it's very interesting. The fight was on the 13th or 14th of March, right? But the search warrants where they went to his home and they searched it happened like 3 months later. It happened this Monday, it says. That's intriguing. That's so strange. They were allowed to go search his home 3 days later for a bar fight. Oh, but the suspect is 29 years of age. There you go. So he's 29. He's not in his 50s. So, I was gonna tell you, if I had the 50 years of age and more, I would have jumped on it and told you this is more than likely a biker criminal group. Now I don't know anymore. He's 29. So, anyways, let's see what we got. A second suspect, aged 45, he was arrested for the same stuff, pretty much. Look, it just keeps contradicting myself. I'm actually going to lean on what I wanted to lean on, guys. Yes, there's 3 people. Have bikers ever been 29? Yes, they have. But I don't like to lean on it when they're too young. But when you get another suspect that's 45, then you get a third suspect who's 50. That gets more interesting there. All right. I think I'll leave this article there. But it just tells you don't get into bar fights, man. If you're going to be, you don't want to get arrested at all if you have all this stuff at your place with a vest and a patch or whatever. You should not even be hanging out in bars. And if you do hang out in bars, you should not even be trying to get into fights. You should be trying to get out of fights. Like GSP. That guy can kick your ass if you wanted to. GSP is a real warrior. He goes to bars, and when some idiot tries to challenge him, GSP doesn't get in his feelings. He tells the other guy, "No, you're right. You can beat me up. You're right. I don't want to fight you." Despite he knows he can destroy that whoever that person is. If you're gonna go to a bar and you're strapped up, you have all this at home, maybe you need to be more like GSP. Next, and shout out to Mille Chemin, Man in the Middle, Green Thumb, Lucifer or Luigi, Ryan C, and Kuzutetsu. I like that name. I like Japanese names. Kuzutetsu 666. We got tons of Luciferians today. And says, he says, French speaker here, just out of curiosity, isn't stupefiant just exactly? I can't say that D word on my channel. You see, I get demonetized for saying that word. If I say that word 1, 2, 3 times, I'm demonetized. If I say the tool, the tool that's used to off people, if I say the actual word 1 or twice, it's a gamble. Sometimes I'll say it once and it seems to go. Other times, but I noticed that if I say 2, 3 times, then definitely they're going to flag my video and it needs to get approval. And I use stupefiant. I always get somebody, some innocent soul who comes in and he always tells me, "Hey man, stupefiant, it doesn't it's not stupifier in English." Some guy actually told me stupifier means something. But he said that's not what it means, Thing is, I'm making a joke of the language, Stupefiant, I'm basically trying to do a very crappy joke of translating it, sort of like someone who's in French, blessé means you got hurt, but if someone doesn't speak French and he sees blessé, he might say blessed, so sometimes I even say the guy got blessed, so in the same manner I use stupifier because it's like stupifiers, they make you stupid, so I created my own word out of this. That's why. So yeah, I'll keep getting that question. There's always some guy coming in, but not the last person. The last person 2 days ago, he was innocent. It's not him. I got another guy before that, and he was going at me. "Oh, you're such an idiot." Little does he know. He doesn't realize who's the real idiot in here. He has no clue. So I'm gonna go back to translating this, boys. We got look, offing in a restaurant in Dick's 30, acquitted. A man will have to. So some guy, they have him red-handed, killing somebody. Red-handed. They caught him red-handed, guys. But you can actually get acquitted, even if you get caught red-handed. The Canadian justice system is hilarious, man. But Eric Francis de Souza, 24, was offed on the 10th of May 2019, in Pizzeria Sofia. Now, I do not think I covered this story because the channel was not in existence back then. So I know nothing about this story. But I want to let you know here. I'm seeing Francis de Souza getting killed inside of a pizzeria. Did Francis de Souza go and meet somebody in this pizzeria, or was he randomly followed into this pizzeria? Now, I don't know the answer to this question, and I don't have no clue what the story is about. But the pizzeria part kind of makes a guy suspicious. Maybe I am a paranoid person. So this is for the this evidence, this picture here, in court for the guy who they think killed him, or they know killed him, but they can't. But he's not guilty. His name is Joshua Saroino. Saroino. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Saroino. Now I don't know. Is that a Italian name there? I have no clue. Because I'm asking you. There's a pizzeria here. I got a Saroino. And a killing here, because I'm suspicious about mob ties here, not because you're Italian. There's tons of Italians. They're completely normal people. It's not for that. I'm suspicious which organized group is involved in this. You don't just kill people, So I'm trying to figure out who could be involved in this. Let's keep reading here. We got Joshua Saroino, okay, and he's the one who was accused. Got it. He was arrested 3 years later, so it took them 3 years to nab the guy. And he went to court in 2023. Got it. So he walked inside, and they say he blasted him from behind the head. Okay, and he was sure of himself. He knew he was going for it. So this is the man right here. According to the theory or of the prosecutors, man, I gotta block this. That's how ridiculous YouTube is. I get dinged for this immediately. According to the theory of the prosecutor, after the offing, the assassin quickly got rid of his tool, and you saw the tool was right here on the ground, before going inside of a vehicle, a white vehicle, which was found later on burned. So that's the other undeniable for us. We've seen too many of this. When the vehicle's burning after the fact, this is almost 100% tied to organized crime. Right off the bat. So which organized crime, my friend? Which one? That's the question. Could you tie things together with family names and the names of the restaurant being Sofia and the fact that it's a pizzeria? I don't know, man. Am I being racist here? Or am I just too dang paranoid? Let's keep going. Identity in play. The investigators found fingerprints as well as DNA on objects, pieces of conviction. And according to the experts, this would have permitted to tie Saroino and lead to his crime. So they got the DNA. I guess his DNA must have been, because they didn't know who he was, right? What I don't get, they say it would have permitted them to tie Saroino. Oh, okay, no, never mind. Okay, I had something in my mind there. I thought they used the DNA. They put it on the DNA collection bank, and they tied it to him that way. That's how they found the guy. But that makes no sense because it wouldn't have taken them 3 years. In other words, they found him in another. They tied it to him in some other manner. They actually caught him in another way. But once they had him in court, they were putting evidence together, and they took his hands, and they took DNA from him, and then they matched it to the crime scene. That's what likely happened here. Now they said that his face was well hidden in surveillance cameras. There you have it. If it's the middle of summer, there's no snow out there, and you see a guy walking like this, no, you have to ask yourself some questions in Montreal, unfortunately. Now, the jury was not convinced of his culpability of the accused, and would have rather acquitted him. Man, he's got a good lawyer. His DNA's there, man. They got his DNA. They got DNA. I imagine they have a camera inside of this store which shows you at what moment he touched what object. They got the fingerprint from the locations, yet it's not enough to convict the guy because he's wearing a mask. That's crazy. But yeah, I don't have the details. I'm probably missing out on something because they're very suspicious. Now, but wait, he's gonna get a new. Apparently, it's not. They still want to put him on a new trial. Oh, okay. So they do want to put him on a new trial. Now here's the dude that got offed. Yeah. So they're saying that one of the jury had to pronounce a verdict of acquitting because he concluded that the guy who pulled the trigger was a blonde. How do you get the guy is a blonde? I guess from this picture I can't see it, but he had other reasons too. Maybe another picture. According to the court, the appeal court, it is not unreasonable that to presume that the jury had such a reasonable doubt as to the color of the hair, and that they ignored some other piece of evidence. Barely 3 months after his acquittal, Joshua Saroino was sent to prison for possessing a tool, or many tools. I'm not sure. Oh, look, they tell you they found the 22 charged and the PM9, whatever that is. I have no clue. So Saroino is also waiting trial for process. Wait a second. Saroino, look at this, guys. Saroino is also awaiting trial for another procedure for having been found in a vehicle that he knew there was a Glock in it. Okay? And at that moment, he was notably in company of mobster Pietro Diadamo. There you go, guys. There you go. Wow. What a shocker. Everything ties perfectly together, doesn't it? In other words, the quote, he's mob related. He has tools. They bust him with tools. Unrelated to the killing, but they bust him with 2 tools. They bust him in the vehicle with the tools. And he was in company of mob boss Pietro Diadamo, high level mobster. And they suspect him of killing somebody. They have his DNA on the crime scene inside of a pizzeria Sofia. Wow, huh? What did I tell you? My spidey senses. What do you think? Am I still paranoid? I don't think so. Let's go to the next. It continues. We're in Montreal, I think. Or we should be. Yeah, Montreal. Okay, this news is for when? It says 8th of May, so that's today. Bar targeted by rounds. 2 young adults accused. Now, I'm confused if it has anything to do with the previous story. Remember, we just said that the bar was, they shot the door of a bar? I just want to see if I can find it so we can compare. Yeah, this one was on the 2nd of May. Okay, published on the 2nd of May. I just need to make sure it's not on the 2nd of May so we can be sure here. Right away, the date of this one's 8th of May, but are they talking about an event on the 2nd of May? That's the key. Help me out here as we read. Okay? You just need to know if it's the same event or not. It's more interesting if it is. Bar targeted by rounds in Montreal. 2 young adults are accused. A criminal gang would have been behind a new wave of extortions against bars and restaurants. All right. So which gang do you think it is, friend? I think you know already. You've been here a while now. So the bar's name is Fitzroy. Too bad I can't remember the other bar's name. And it was targeted by rounds, on the 2nd of May. It's that story, friend. It is the previous story we read earlier in this episode. So we're getting more details. But what is the gang's name? Is it who we think it is? The one in Plateau Mont-Royal. So, look at the names, man. We have a Cassandra here. Cassandra Pépin Larocque had just partied and celebrated her 18 years of age. And Stichi Valme, 19 years old, are suspected of having let off rounds at the door of Fitzroy located on Mont-Royal, close to Pontiac Street, on the 2nd of May. According to court documents, the duo would have committed their crime with a semi-auto Intratec 9 while rolling on the vehicle. So they did a drive-by, friends. And possibly this Toyota was stolen. They were on a mission. They were finally arrested in Vaudreuil-Dorion Wednesday evening. Valme had to wear an electronic bracelet that was ordered to be put on him so they can track his movements. But the police had noticed that he had detached himself from it. Let us note that another suspect, 18 years of age, has also been arrested, but he was liberated under promise of appearing in court later on. The investigation pursues or continues, indicates the police of Montreal. Now, I don't know why they're saying this, but they're saying that there was another search warrant in Saint-Sauveur in Laurentides. Why would you mention that in this article, unless it's related? If not, then just pointless to mention it. So I don't know if it's related or not, but they did include it here for some reason. Now, Cassandra and Stichi had no criminal background. They were never arrested prior. Wait a sec. That makes no sense, though. Why did he have the electronic bracelet? You know what I'm saying? He just said he was supposed to wear an electronic bracelet, and they noticed that he's not wearing it. He ripped it off himself. Now you're saying he doesn't have a previous criminal background. Somewhere my understanding may be lacking, because this just doesn't make sense. And they're saying that he has 2 cases that are pending. Is that why? There's no conclusion to it, I guess. I guess he has two cases pending but it's for when he wasn't an adult, I guess. Anyhow, God bless. Thank you, Big 50. What's up, pal? I'm sorry, man. I missed seeing your messages. How you doing, buddy? Nice to have you, bud. Now, where are we? Now, here it says, from the penitentiary. Let us remind that almost 72 hours after this attack at this bar. So, almost 72 hours after this attack on Fitzroy, one of the associates of the group called A5 Hospitality. Never heard of this one. So it wasn't who I thought it was. Who is this A5 Hospitality? Oh, no, wait. It has nothing to do with the gang. They're not talking about the gang. I think you're talking about a company here. My apologies. Let us remind that 72 hours after the attack against the bar, an associate of the group A5 Hospitality, probably a company, who controls the establishment, who controls the bar, was also targeted by a violent event. So an employee or a manager or something from this company that owns the bar was targeted. Projectiles were shot at the window of his residence in Île-des-Sœurs in Montreal. There you go. We finally get such a big clue as to what's been happening for many, many months. This is the kind of clue that I've wanted, man. We never got a clue like this, straightforward for us to read. So you're always wondering, because I keep reading to you, such as what I did earlier in the episode, reading previous news. This residence was targeted. This residence was targeted in Laval with rounds. This residence in Ville Saint Laurent was targeted with rounds. We never know who's being targeted. There's not more information than that. There's short reports of what happened, straight up last night, for example. Here we have something that matches those events, and we do have a very logical reason here. You see this bar being shot at the door? Well, an associate of the company that controls this bar, at his home, his residence, was shot in Ile-des-Sœurs. There you have it. So it seems like there's got to be more like this, where the home, when we covering news and we getting a home being shot, and we're wondering what it's for, out of all those 20s or 30s or 40s events that we've covered throughout the year or two, you're telling me this is the first time one of those residents, it was a bar owner or an employee of a bar or a manager of a bar? This is the first time. None of those 50s were. You know the answer to that one, friend. Now we're getting the answers here. So they're targeting bars, huh? And they're then targeting the manager's place. That makes a lot more sense now, huh? We're starting to get a picture now. But it doesn't explain the restaurants being targeted in Laval. But it could still be the same people. But for a different reason. Or not so different. Let's keep going. So the newspaper, my apologies, Le Journal, reported this morning that the new wave of extortion that is hitting bars and restaurants would be caused by a gang of Montreal that is being controlled from inside of prison by a hardened criminal. Now we know right now, the last time they mentioned somebody that was controlling attacks in the Montreal city, burning buildings down, shooting that lawyer's office, sending kids to do it. Note the fact, young people, sending young cats to do it. And they said there was one person in prison controlling this, him and his friend. Do you remember? It was Arab power. Here we having mentioning somebody from prison, a hardened criminal. So what do you think? There you go. According to our information, it's the Arab. Now this is funny. They're saying it's the gang Arabs with attitude that would be searching actually to gain power in licensed establishments inside of the city. Now I find it funny. It's Arab with attitude this time. So which one is it? Arab power, Arab with attitude? Here they're saying it's Arab with attitude. Are they all part of the same branch or absolutely not? Are they enemies or they're all from the same family? So they are demanding from businesses or bars couple of tens of thousands of dollars so that they can benefit from protection. A couple of days ago, they were three beer I guess you could say three bars in LaSalle that have no link to A5. So this bar right here that we were talking about, it's controlled by a company called A5. Here they're talking about another event. A couple of days ago, there were three bars in LaSalle in the southwest having no links to A5 that were the targets. They've been all set on fire in less than 24 hours. We may even have covered that because I do recall recently it was action in the southwest that we covered. But I don't remember if there were fires. They were attempting a Molotov inside. They broke the window and they threw something in. So I'm guessing they're talking about that. Unless there has been more that I didn't hear about. So yeah, there you go, man. All right. So yes, that's the one. Yeah, le bar chez Normand. That's the one we covered. I absolutely remember the name. Now, illegal liberty. The authorities believe that the gang is directed by Fauzi Harmali. Now, I do remember his name. I remember that he was being surveilled by the cops as soon as he left prison. They were watching him. They were suspecting him, and some reason, he doesn't have a job or anything. He's driving Range Rover, expensive vehicles, and he's driving all around downtown. Seems to be making collections and things like that. And I think they stopped him and they found him with a tool. I think it was something like that. Now let's see what. And then he was on the run, and they caught him. I think they caught him while he was hiding. But anyways, let's see what they're saying. Illegal liberty. The authorities believe that the gang directed by Fauzi Harmali, the 33-year-old man, which is actually incarcerated. He was arrested last summer after being on the run, basically. Yeah. Okay, now I think we got a better picture here. We have Arab Power. There's their leader, Younes Attaki, in prison, with another person, Sylvain Kabuchi. It seems like there's another group. More likely they're not enemies and they're good pals. But this other group is called Arabs with Attitude. And these are not a brand new group, because this guy is not brand new. He's not brand new at all. Actually, I have an episode, a storytelling episode. His picture's on the thumbnail. You should check that out. He's suspected of having offed people himself. Many years ago, over 5 years ago, inside of bars in Laval. Let's see what's going on here. So they think that he's the one ordering these from prison to his Arabs with Attitude group. And I suspected he was at a certain point closely or indirectly inside of Woolley's pipeline. But don't quote me on that. At that time, a couple of say a year or two ago, that's what I thought. That's what I suspected. All right, let's keep going. Yes. Anyways, they're saying, yeah, he already got 6 years in prison in 2021. It was in link to an investigation for an attempted offing in 2019 on Arsène Montpoint. Now they think that he's involved in that offing. You remember Arsène Montpoint? We talked about him to death. The ex-chief of the Unit 44, a Red Gang. We talked about him a lot. And that was a Woolley enemy. And here you have him being somehow involved in that plot. But there were many people involved in that plot, allegedly. And that was definitely in the interests of Gregory Woolley. That's why I believe that was why I suspected him to being part of that pipeline. But something happened along the lines. The Arabs don't seem to follow any of those pipelines anymore. Let's see what we got. Next one. Okay, now we can move on from we did North Coast, we did Redzone. Now we did Montreal, we did Laval. You see, I told you how busy it was today, didn't I? Now, how fitting we would end with the other favorite topic, huh? Le Hells Angels. So I got 3 more Hells Angels this time. Let's learn. A close friend of the Hells Angels accused of having stolen television signals? See what this is about if you can learn anything. Éric Grenier was extradited from Aruba, a small island in the Caribbean, and he will face accusations of fraud and stealing telecommunication services. Now, I don't really care particularly for that, but I'm here for information that'll lead us to understand, help us understand everything we're doing on this channel. You know, every little bit helps. You just gotta keep an open mind, friend. All right, so a close friend of the Hells Angels and an ex-member of the Red Devils appeared in court Wednesday in the Trois-Rivières court for having stolen signals on the internet. He was extradited from Aruba, we read that, a small island near Venezuela or in Venezuela, I'm not too sure. He was transported to the SQ, in Shawinigan. In total, 5 people were arrested, which is part of an investigation that began or was realized in February of 2024, last year. The SQ had put an end to the activities of Arubox TV and Stalker IPTV. I think we talked about that. I do think. Maybe not, though. I'm having my doubts right now. No, I don't think we talked about this. But there was another... there was a Hell's Angel or biker that we talked about at a certain point. I mean, that was a long time ago, maybe 3 years ago, involved in something similar. But I believe that was way longer than last year. So this one I didn't cover. Anyways, according to officers, these 2 companies, Arubox TV, Stalker IPTV, with their websites. And these websites, let's see what they're doing. The cops saying that these 2 companies were stealing numerous signals from television chains, and offering them to their clients. According to police authorities, I think that's genius. According to police, these 2 enterprises had more than 7,000 users or members. You know, people who subscribe, paying a monthly fee, of which many of those subscribers or viewers were from Mauricie in Quebec. But the people who the viewers will not be pursued. Of course, how would they know? They might think it's totally legal. What would they know if it's legal or not legal? They're just seeing a deal and they paid something. Now, Eric Grenier, 52, was the head of Arubox TV. He will face 10 chiefs of accusations. All right, we don't care about the rest. Now they're just saying if you're using this, you're not allowed to have it. You won't be pursued, but throw it in the trash. You know. All right, next news. A first outing. You know, the annual run, I guess. Annual run of the bikers. Last year we covered it when it happened. Do you remember how time flies, man? Now the title is Bikers and Cops Playing Cat and Mouse. Approximately 300 bikers are being waited, so they're expecting an event in Saint-Charles-sur-Richelieu, like last year, for the traditional first run organized by the Hells Angels of Quebec. Remember last time the cops were waiting for them, and we had pictures. We had pictures where they were frisking them. I think they frisked Salvatore Cazzetta or another dude. I think so. I think that's what I recall last year. So they're going to have another one, basically. We don't need to translate anything. I just want to double check any extra information for us. You know, the usual, they're going to frisk them, they're going to harass them, they're going to make them uncomfortable, they're going to get their names, they're going to collect data. You already know the drill, man. Not worth translating word for word, something like that. But here is very interesting. So we're going to read names because just like the cops, we're going to collect our own data. I almost missed out on this. You're going to like this. You're going to like this, friend. This member of the Marauders was arrested in possession of a tool. There he is, Marauder member here. They don't give us more info here. At the left, Gaëtan David. So this is Hell's Angel Gaëtan David. now a member of the Hells Angels section of Thailand. Think about that. What is a Quebec Hells Angel moving to Thailand for? To join a club over there. Could this be to expand their stupifier capabilities? You know? Why would you even want to? What's the point of going and opening a biker school Thailand? Why not stay here with your buddies? What's there for you? That's interesting, no? Gaetan David in Thailand. Just like in Dominican Republic. Let's see what else we got. This is the more interesting picture. At the center, with the glasses and the hat, the ex-gang boss, street gang boss, who became the member of the Marauders, Jean-Philippe Célestin, flanked by other members of his group and the Hells Angels of Montreal, Gilles Lambert. I think this is him, Gilles Lambert, right there. Very old biker, if you will, a legend, old name in the Hells Angels, if that's who I think it is. Gilles Lambert. Yeah, that's him. They're saying to the left. That's Gilles Lambert right there. So you have the famous Philippe Célestin right here. Look how much he's aged. His beard is practically white now. I guess that's how it'll be. You know, his brother got killed like a year or two ago. Remember? A lot of stress doing that. Next one, they don't give us no names. But man, you see? I told you we get something out of it. As mundane as the article is, we try to find something, pal. And we usually do. I'm just scanning it for you. Members of 5 sections of the Hells Angels of Quebec and about 15 sections from all over Canada, from British Columbia, were observed by the cops, as well as about 30 members of their underling schools or supporters, such as the Marauders of Montreal, Patriot Riders, Satan's Crew, the Evil Ones, the Dark Souls, and Les Gitans. So this, if it's Les Gitans, if it's the same as I remember, that's a very old name, man. Maybe, I guess it's just a new school. But Les Gitans, there's another Gitan name, is a name that goes back decades and decades and decades ago. I have a doubt that it's those Gitans. I have a doubt. This is just a reformulated biker group with the name, I believe. Could be wrong, but Les Gitans is an old name, man. Very old. One of the first. I'll be surprised. Next one. So here you go. The police have equally observed a color of a new group. There's a new group in town, guys. The Red Tails of Quebec. So here you go, guys. Inauguration of a new group. A new name in the landscape. Because we know about Marauders. We know about Patriot Riders. We knew about Satan's Crew. We know about the Evil Ones. About the Dark Souls. Les Gitans, maybe. But the old Gitans, yes. But the Red Tails of Quebec. This is a new one. Oh, there you go, guys. This is a new one, guys. The Red Tails, they noticed that one of their members is none other, guys, than Danny Sprints Cadet. This is big news. Former member of the Syndicates of Montreal, an ex-lieutenant of gang boss Gregory Woolley. One of his right-hand men. Now, do you really think the Hells Angels had something to do with Gregory Woolley's death? That they wanted him dead? Well, if they did, and if that's what somehow occurred, sometimes I'm doubting it, but I don't know anything. I'm trying to figure it out. If that's true, you can't tell me it's not suspicious that 2 of his loyal lieutenants are bikers now. Danny Sprints Cadet and Jean-Philippe Célestin. What do you have to say about that? Did they betray their former friend? Or did they somehow along the way become enemies? That's if Gregory Woolley was one of their enemies. It was Gregory Woolley against the bikers, which seems to be so. Then how come his old, loyal people from his organization are now with the other side? What happened? Did Gregory Woolley get betrayed somehow? Isn't this a betrayal by itself? You know? It makes you ask questions. Where are we? So the cops gave about 340 tickets to the bikers. Damn. Yeah, sorry, I'm still. Yeah, man, that's terrible, man. You betray your long-time, decade-old friend like that. That's pretty sad, man. Pretty sad. I don't know. I if they did betray it, I have no clue. I'm reading these and I'm simply trying to figure it out. Crazy, man. Yeah, so the neighborhoods complained that they made tons of noise, they went really fast, things like that, I think. Just don't feel like reading it word for word. It's not really what we're looking for. The Hells Angels are profiting from this event in order to underline their 40th anniversary of the Sherbrooke section, which I guess they were formed in 1984. And the death, the natural death in last December of one of their members, Jean-Paul Ramsey. But the police also are noticing that this year, the presence of a very high number of sections and subgroups was as if the Hells Angels wanted to put on a demonstration of force. For more than 1 year, the hegemony of the Hells Angels, always considered by police the most important or strongest criminal group in Quebec, is being contested. You know this, I know this, we've been covering it. In numerous regions, it's being contested. In the capital, so we're talking about Quebec City, the Red Zone. We have Beauce, right south of it. Côte-Nord, the North Coast. Saguenay, Lac Saint-Jean, remember today? And Mauricie. And you should add Montreal in there. I wonder why they didn't add Montreal in there. Oh, wait a sec. Tuesday, one of their members, the president of the Niagara section, Craig McKilgam? I'm not sure you pronounce... Sorry, I can't pronounce that name. Craig McKilgam, 55, was offed by rounds in Burlington, Ontario. Now, Big 50 sent me that article. I don't cover Ontario, so I didn't want, but I should have read it with you, honestly, because there were some key points there. I read it for myself. So that's president in the Niagara section, Mr. Craig. He got killed. They suspect him of being part of the gambling operations with Mr. Bardella, the Montreal Hells Angels. And we know that Bardella was targeted. At least they tried to kill him once. They burned down his home. And there's a police investigation on Mr. Craig McKillam, I believe. And magically he gets killed. But I don't want to get into that. It goes over my head. Because I don't follow Ontario too much. But there's that Montreal link there because of Mr. Bardella, so it's somehow unskippable. but it's Ontarian activities. But yeah, they're just saying on the side, someone over there got killed. All right. I told you today was a blockbuster. There was just so many things. Never ending. All right. Last one. Again, Hell's Angels. To finish it off. Look at this interesting one, guys. The residence or home of a Hell's Angel targeted by rounds in Stoneham. Oh boy. His residence was targeted. By multiple rounds on the night of Wednesday to Thursday. So last night, guys. Or you could say this morning, I guess. Yeah, the 3 in the morning. According to our information, the home belonged to a member of the Hells Angels. At 3 in the morning, a call was made to 911 by witnesses that heard rounds being let off in the area. And the cops did find at least one of them hit the home. Nobody was injured. They were giving him a message, apparently. So the cops will be investigating. Now, who is this person? Oh, here you go, guys. According to our information, the residence of the person targeted is none other than Mtl Pelletier, member of the Hells Angels. You remember Mtl Pelletier? Remember, like earlier today, I told you, oh, I'm suspicious. This is biker related, one of our news events, and I told you, look, but the first guy's 29. And I said, yeah, I'm not leaning on that. And then we saw the second person arrested was 45. Then we saw the other person was 50 years old. Then I told you, you know what? I can go for it. But I had a thought in my mind that I forgot at the moment. I wanted to say, but I moved on quick and I forgot to tell you. I was going to tell you, there's no young Hells Angels these days. But there is one, actually. There is one. It's a son of another Hells Angel, longtime Hells Angel, one of the founders, I believe, in that chapter. I forgot his name, but he has a son who was in his 20s. Maybe he's 29 now. His name is Mtl Pelletier, and he's butting head to head with the BFM. So here you have it, guys. The home of Mtl Pelletier being targeted. It's not the Hells Angels who did that. It's their enemies, obviously. And they're in direct conflict, Mtl Pelletier, direct conflict with the BFM. So they're tired of it. And now they knew where he lived. They probably knew where he lived the whole time. But they finally decided they're going for his house. Think about that a little bit. Now they're saying that in March 2023, a similar event happened in the same area on a residence that was targeted by rounds. Now, I don't think that was his home. What are the chances he moved from there to here? They would have just mentioned it. We would have known all about it. So there you go, guys. It continues. It's not over. It's never over. This thing is crazy, man. So you got Ice Pick that's in prison. I would have told you this was ordered by him. Is it? If he's under surveillance. But we already know other gang bosses in Montreal are ordering from prison too. Now we have 3 people inside prison of Montreal ordering stuff in Montreal City. At least one of them is in a high maximum security under surveillance like 24 hours. He still managed to pass some orders. Now, is Ice Pick still sending out orders? Or is this one coming from the other Albovin side? You gotta ask yourself. But one thing's clear. It's not over. They're telling Mtl Pelletier he's not safe. But, that's crazy. Anyways. Yeah, that's it for today, man. We're at 1 hour and 14 episodes. At least I warned you this time. I told you it was going to be long. There was a lot of things to cover. And we did it, man. Wow, man. That was a lot. That was a lot. You can't blame me for not remembering all this stuff. It's hard to remember when you keep doing this over and over every other week. I wanted to take a break, man. I wanted to do one every 2 weeks. Told myself, let me give myself 2 weeks. But then I said, let me just peek at the news. So I can collect them. But at a certain point, I was collecting like 20 news, guys. And I realized I'll never be able to catch up. So that lull we had this winter, we had a little bit of calmness, remember? And then we got Ice Pick arrested, and I thought, holy cow, it's going to diminish substantially. Now, I can't lie to you, on the red zone front, I did notice a drop. Kind of did drop. But then at the very end, we got the coup de grâce here. Maybe they're not going to do as many. Maybe they're just going to go for the kill. Maybe they're just going to go for the high-impact events now. Because now they went for Mathieu Pelletier. But they're not trying to kill him. If you're trying to kill somebody, this is the stupidest way to do it. Because now he'll be with armed security. If he wasn't with armed security enough, he'll be with armed security even more. What you would want to do is make him feel safe. You don't do this. And then when he leaves the place, you would try to get him. That's my opinion, you know? So in other words, it's bark. But what's the point of this bark? What's it going to really accomplish at this point? He's not going to stop because you boned his home. When you target it, when those gangs target those residents, those civilians in their homes who are bar owners or whatever, yeah, that guy might stop. Probably will. He's scared. But you're not going to stop Mathieu Pelletier. You're not going to stop Hell's Angels, man. They're having these annual runs, bro. Popping his home's not going to do it. No? That's just my opinion. Anyways, man, let's give you guys shout-outs as we usually do. And please, if you can, donate to my channel. Become a member. Join. That'll help me out a lot. And shout out to Lucifer, or Luigi, that is. Ryan C., Mr. Green Thumb, Man in the Middle, Mille Chemin, Magamind Fraga. Yeah, Viva Quebexico, you're damn right. Kuzutetsu 666. Big 50. What's up, pal? The Youth, Max the Youth, Forever Young. Nixon, what's up, cuz? We got Nixon in the house. OG, he's a real OG. He's definitely an OG. He's been here from the very beginning. I never forgot it, man. From the very, very, very beginning. When I was the most hated, he was there. Triple N, what's up, buddy? Yeah, NWA need to file a copyright claim against Arab with attitude. Mr. J, what's up, buddy? Wow, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. And where are we? Sorry, I get lost in reading sometimes. Zachary Mitchell, what's up, buddy? Good Thursday, right back at you, buddy. Thank you. Happy to have you here with us. And DC, what's up, pal? How are you doing, buddy? I hope you're doing well, bud. You see, man, I posted the post, bro. You know, you don't owe me nothing, but the post is free, but friendship's free. Marshall Mathers, like Marshall Mathers. Salute to Marshall. What's up, buddy? And did I miss anybody, man? I think I got. I'm trying to make sure it's the same names. Usually, by now I'd pop another name, and there'll be a new name that I didn't read. Hope I didn't miss anybody, man. Yeah, I think I got everybody. And you too, Silent Bunch. You too, man. You're great. I like you, man. Yeah, you're a cool guy, man. You know, sometimes the cool dude is not the rude dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like quiet, silent assassin. I appreciate you, pal. And everybody, have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit the like to help me out.